Okay, folks, welcome to our first video that you'll be watching and taking notes on for homework. Make sure that you have your notes all set up and ready to go. You should have downloaded the example, the PDF, and into Notability, from Schoology into Notability. Make sure that you have easy access to that. Remember, if you are having to watch the video on your iPad, you may want to just have another sheet of paper and get those notes down, and then you can copy them into the PDF later. So let's go ahead over what we're going to accomplish tonight. So by the end of tonight's homework, you should be able to identify the three main components of a paragraph. And to start with, let's answer a couple questions in your notes. Practice the power of the pause button and then answer these two questions. What is a paragraph and what makes a paragraph good? All right, now that you have those down, let's look at some definitions and some specifics about the parts of a paragraph. So please write the following in your notes. There's the definition for a paragraph, a group of sentences that are all on one single topic, and it has three parts: intro, body, and conclusion. Very similar to an essay, which also has an introduction, body, and conclusion, but this is at a much smaller scale. So those three parts, the introduction of a paragraph is called the topic sentence. Short, to the point, introduces the topic. You get all the great details about the topic in the body, and then you end with that concluding sentence that kind of wraps everything up. We'll be watching videos and doing activities with each of these different things later on. Next, we're going to watch a quick funny little video that's kind of quirky, but will hopefully give you some other ways of thinking about a paragraph. So let's check it out.
Hey, hamburger. I just heard a couple of students discussing writing. They mentioned that writing good paragraphs can be compared to a hamburger.
What do paragraphs have to do with me? I know nothing about writing good paragraphs.
Well, apparently creating a good paragraph is very similar to creating a hamburger. It makes sense. Think about it. You consist of three parts: the top bun, the meat and garnishes, and the bottom bun. How many parts does a paragraph have?
Well, a paragraph should have a topic sentence, supporting details, and a conclusion or transition sentence. That makes three parts. I still don't see the connection, though.
Hamburgers can provide a clear structure for writing an organized paragraph. We'll call it a hamburger paragraph. A writer begins a hamburger paragraph by creating the top part of the bun. The top bun is the topic sentence. Below your top bun, you have your fillings, your meat and garnishes.
So I guess my filling of tomato, lettuce, and meat represents the supporting details of the topic sentence.
Now you're cooking. The bottom bun, or layer, is like the concluding sentence. It finishes things up.
Let's see. So, the top bun is the topic sentence, the fillings are the supporting details, and the bottom bun is the concluding sentence. I guess the more fillings, or support, that comes between the buns, or topic sentence and concluding sentence, the better the burger, or paragraph is.
Yes, as long as you don't overdo it. I think we all knows what happens to those like you when too much gets stuffed in between the buns.
If there is too much, the person eating can't enjoy the taste of the meat. A hamburger can have so much piled on it that it becomes hard to eat. Sometimes it even falls apart.
Something similar can happen with paragraphs. There can be so many details the reader forgets the main point, or the reader can get lost or confused.
All that makes sense. An overloaded paragraph can fall apart just like an overloaded burger. But what if someone needs all those details to make his point?
He would probably be better off having two hamburgers, or in this case writing additional paragraphs. One also has to make sure everything belongs in the paragraph. Think a minute about putting a delicious piece of chocolate cake on a hamburger.
Yuck. I don't know anyone who would like that.
Nor do I. Including sentences in your filling that don't have anything to do with the bun is like adding something to a hamburger that doesn't belong. It doesn't work.
Well, I guess I do have a lot in common with a paragraph after all. Do you think those students could set me up on a blind date with one of their paragraphs?
No way, you'll just get grease all over the paper. I think I'm done here, and I think you are over. Done.
Yeah, well, you're starting to go flat yourself. But hey, thanks for the writing lesson.
No problem. I always enjoy quenching someone's thirst for knowledge.
All right, so hopefully that helped to reinforce some of the things that we've talked about, and we'll move on. All right, so we're going to look at some example paragraphs just to kind of see what the difference would be for a basic level versus a higher level. So you have two paragraphs here. We have the proficient paragraph and the advanced paragraph. We're going to look at these. The proficient paragraph is going to be something that's going to give you a C grade. Advanced paragraph would be something that would give you a B grade, and then later on we'll even look at the mastery, which is going to give you that A grade, which is what you really want. So, but let's take a quick look at these two paragraphs. First of all, the proficient paragraph. Notice that it's pretty short. The sentences are all pretty basic. There's nothing very particularly interesting about them, but it does have everything that it needs. It has a clear topic sentence, it has at least 3 supporting details, and a sentence wrap-up. So let's read it. Guitar Hero 5 is a great game. There are lots of songs to choose from. The graphics have also been improved in this version. The most interesting new mode is Rockfest, basically a mix and match of all of the online games combined. Clearly, fans of previous Guitar Hero games will enjoy this one too. Alright, so yeah, nothing super exciting, but certainly shows an understanding of what a paragraph is. Alright, let's look at the next one, the advanced paragraph. Advanced paragraph, you have, it starts out, notice it's, first of all, it's a lot longer. The sentences are more complex. There's more details, going into details about the different things that come up in the paragraph. And you just feel like you walk away knowing a lot more about what's going on. There's even some better word choice and things like that. So let's read it. Guitar Hero 5 feels like a brand new game. One reason is because there are a lot more songs to choose from. With all of the choices, anybody can find something to like. The graphics have also been vastly improved in this version. There is a lot more attention to character detail, making the characters more realistic. The most interesting new mode is Rockfest, basically a mix and match of all the online games combined. So at one point you can be playing for highest points, and next you're playing a tug-of-war type battle. Clearly fans of previous Guitar Hero games will enjoy this one too. Okay, so you notice that there was a little bit more detail. You've got the words like vastly, giving you a better understanding of what's going on. Okay, so go back to your notes, and I want you to write down 3 things that you noticed about that were different from the proficient to advanced paragraph. If you need to, rewind me and re-listen to those 2 different paragraphs, and you'll probably pick up some things from what I said. Okay, so now that you've paused and written about those, let's go on to the mastery paragraph. All right, notice this one is much longer. There's a lot more detail. You're going to find a greater variety of sentences, the sentence types, as well as the sentence beginnings. You're going to feel like there's going to be better voice. So let's dive in and read this. Just when you thought you'd played every song possible on a plastic instrument, Guitar Hero 5 appears on the scene and feels like a brand new game. The major selling point is the number and quality of songs you can play. From pop to punk, from Stevie Wonder to Nirvana, anybody can find something to like here. The vocals have been upgraded with bigger karaoke lyrics too. The graphics have been vastly improved in this version with attention to character detail. The only minor downside here is that the crowd does exactly the same thing. All their hands are up, moving at the exact same time. The most interesting new mode is Rockfest, a mix and match of all the online games combined. So at one point you can be playing for highest points, and next you're playing a tug-of-war type battle, which is immense fun for all you competitive gamers out there. Overall, this game is fun for the whole family, and fans of previous Guitar Hero games will definitely enjoy this one too. Okay, so you notice that there were lots more detail, there was a lot more variety, and it just sounded more interesting. These qualities that come come from practice. And so the more you practice writing, the better you'll get at that. Okay, you should have a copy of this paragraph in your guided notes that you downloaded from Schoology. It's also on sophia.org if you are taking your notes in a different way and you want to copy and paste the paragraph rather than having to write it out. But in your guided notes, I want you to use the highlighter function in Notability to highlight the introduction or the topic sentence of the paragraph, and then use the same color to highlight the conclusion. And then just kind of draw a box or a bracket around the rest of the paragraph, everything that's between the topic sentence and the concluding sentence, just like you learned in the hamburger video, because that's going to be the body of your paragraph. And if you can find any transition words, feel free to highlight them in another color to go that extra mile. Okay, so you just paused and you highlighted everything in the mastery paragraph. Let's kind of check your notes. So you kind of have to probably laugh at the squiggly lines there on the highlighting. It's not particularly easy to do on the computer. But you'll notice that the first paragraph is highlighted because it introduces what the paragraph is about. And then the last sentence is highlighted because it's wrapping it up and is very similar, has some similar themes to the topic sentence. And then the bracket shows you everything in between, all those details that explain what the person is trying to say about Guitar Hero 5. Now in your notes, there's a spot to write down some of those words that you think are really good examples of word choice that really build up the paragraph, that come with good practice. Things that you can just be thinking about while you're practicing, but eventually they'll become natural. All right. So now you're finished with tonight's homework. Remember that this video will always be on sophia.org, so anytime you want to come back to it, you can go to get the link through Schoology and review it at any time. And don't forget that you need to also go back onto sophia.org to fill out the digital whisk, the summary, and the questions, and don't forget that hot question like we practiced in class. And as a little extra, if you think you could make a better video than the hamburger video, feel free to try it. Go on goanimate.com and see what you can come up with. I'd be happy to give bonus points to anybody that thinks they can do better, because you probably could. Okay, so that about wraps it up. Remember, you should be able to now identify the three main components of the paragraph, and we will do more on this in class. Good night.